Here's a hard truth. People don't respond to your logic. They respond to how you make them feel. Your relationships, your opportunities, your reputation, and your influence aren't shaped by what you know, but by how well you handle emotions, your own and everyone else's. Emotional intelligence is not some soft, fuzzy concept. It is tactical. It is strategic. It is power in human form. And today, we're going to break down exactly how you can master it. So let's start with the most important part, mastering yourself first. Before you can ever hope to understand others, you must understand you, your triggers, your patterns, your emotional blind spots. See, high emotional intelligence begins with developing one single powerful skill, the inner pause. This is that critical moment where you consciously choose your response instead of just reacting on pure impulse. This is where the game is won or lost. To build this skill, you need to learn a simple 4-step process. First, recognize your emotional shifts as they happen. Don't ignore them. Acknowledge them. Is your heart rate climbing? Are your muscles tensing? That's your cue. Second, label the feeling. Is it anger? Frustration? Anxiety? Giving it a name takes away its power. Third, slow your breathing. Take a deep, deliberate breath. This simple action physically calms your nervous system and clears your mind. And finally, fourth, respond with intention, not emotion. You're no longer a slave to your feelings. You're in the driver's seat. This internal control is what separates the reactive from the truly powerful. Once you've started to master your internal world, it's time to move on to part 2, reading people like a language. Because people speak volumes long before they ever open their mouths. You need to start paying attention to the subtle cues that everyone else misses. Look at their facial tension. Are their lips pursed? Is their brow furrowed? Notice their micro reactions, those split-second expressions that reveal their true feelings. Listen to their tone of voice, not just their words. Is it clipped? Is it hesitant? Observe their pacing. Are they rushing, or are they speaking slowly and deliberately? Look at their posture. Are they open and relaxed, or closed off and defensive? And most importantly, pay attention to their silence. Sometimes, what isn't said is the most important message of all. Emotional intelligence teaches you to catch what others overlook. A slightly raised eyebrow, a jaw that tightens for just a second, a sudden sharp inhale, a shift in eye contact. These aren't random movements. They are signals. They are clues. They are raw data. When you learn to read these signs, you start understanding people at a level they often don't even understand themselves. You're no longer just hearing their words, you're perceiving their entire reality. This isn't mind reading, it's just paying attention. Now, let's talk about part 3, communicating with precision. Social mastery isn't about talking more. It's about making every word count. It's about speaking with impact. There are a few incredibly powerful habits you can build to achieve this. The first is to speak slowly when emotions are high. Speed signals anxiety and a lack of control. A measured, deliberate pace signals confidence and authority. When everyone else is panicking and talking over each other, your calm, slow speech will cut through the noise and command attention. The second habit is to listen far more than you talk. People are fundamentally drawn to those who make them feel seen and heard. When you genuinely listen, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're absorbing information and building trust. People will tell you everything you need to know if you just give them the space to do it. The third habit, validate before you correct. If you want to change someone's mind or offer a different perspective, you must first acknowledge their point of view. Saying something like, "I understand why you feel that way," or "That's a valid point," immediately softens their resistance and makes them more receptive to what you have to say next. You're not agreeing, you're just acknowledging. And the fourth habit, a truly advanced technique, is to match someone's energy, then lead it. If someone is excited, Match that excitement before you try to calm them down. If someone is frustrated, acknowledge that frustration before you try to solve the problem. By meeting them where they are, you build rapport. Once that connection is established, you can then gently guide the emotional energy of the conversation in a more productive direction. This is how true influence begins. You see, social skill isn't about being naturally charming. It's about being strategic. This brings us to part 4, controlling the emotional climate of the room. Think about it. People don't always remember your exact words, but they will always remember your presence. They remember how you made them feel. High IQ individuals don't just exist in a room, they reshape the atmosphere around them. You do this by staying calm when others are reacting. When chaos erupts, your stability becomes a powerful force. You do it by asking clean, simple questions that cut through emotional clutter and get to the heart of the issue. You do it by keeping your tone of voice stable and even, no matter what's thrown at you. You also do it by redirecting negativity. When someone complains or becomes cynical, you don't argue with them. You can acknowledge their feeling and then gently pivot the conversation toward a solution or a more positive angle. I hear your frustration with this setback. What's one small step we could take to move forward? Finally, you do it by showing empathy without losing your boundaries. You can understand and acknowledge someone's pain without taking it on as your own. Your emotional stability becomes the anchor that everyone else in the room consciously or unconsciously leans on. That is influence. That is leadership. And finally, part 5, handling conflict like a master. Most conflicts explode because two untrained egos collide. It becomes a battle of who is right and who is wrong, and everyone loses. But emotional intelligence gives you the tools to diffuse these situations and turn them into something productive. The first rule is, don't take the first attack personally. When someone lashes out, understand that their emotion is not the truth. It's a signal. It's a signal that they feel threatened, unheard, or powerless. Your job is to decode the signal, not react to the noise. The second tool, lower your voice when the other person raises theirs. This is incredibly powerful. It instinctively forces them to lean in and listen more closely, and it subconsciously encourages them to mirror your calm. It's almost impossible to maintain a shouting match with someone who is speaking calmly and quietly. The third tool is to ask questions instead of making statements. Arguing and making counter-accusations just adds fuel to the fire. Questions, on the other hand, disarm emotional aggression. Asking, "Can you help me understand what led to this?" Or, "What would a good outcome look like for you?" shifts the dynamic from a fight to a problem-solving session. And that leads to the final point. Focus on the problem, not the person. Frame the issue as a shared challenge that you need to solve together. This turns battles into collaborations and arguments into resolutions. Conflict isn't something to be feared. For the emotionally intelligent, it's simply something to be navigated. Let's bring this all together. True strength is not found in dominating people. Real, lasting strength is in understanding them, reading them, connecting with them, influencing them without force. When you master your emotions, you gain control over your reactions. When you master social intelligence, you gain control over your environment. This is how you win in relationships. It's how you win opportunities. It's how you win trust. It's how you win influence. Master emotional intelligence, and you'll master life itself. Thanks for watching. If this was valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more.